change your heart, change your life, change the planet.
Hey everybody, it's Tim Van Orden, and today I want to talk to you about why I'm no longer doing hard workouts and how that's going to make me a better runner. Sounds counterintuitive. We're taught to believe that if we do lots of speed work on the track at really high intensity, or if we do hill sprints, running up hills really fast, if we do lots of Tabata workouts like I used to do in the gym, or if we race every weekend, or do tempo runs, or really, really long runs to stretch our limits, that this is how we're going to grow best as a runner. And for many people, this does indeed work. But for some, or at least some of the time, it doesn't work. And right now, I find myself in a time of year where those hard workouts don't work for me. And I'll tell you why. It's early December, and the days are really short. Although sunset is around 4:20 p.m., the sun goes down at my house around 3:30 because there's a mountain across the street. So the sun is down below that mountain at 3:30, and even though it's not sunset yet, it's pretty dark and gloomy in the valley that I live in. And the temperature is hovering in the 30s most days. It's raining a lot, so you get this cold drizzle and gray and short days. So just getting myself out the door takes an enormous amount of mental energy. Getting myself dressed and running is a huge accomplishment. So the thought of adding intensity on top of that is more than I can mentally take. It's just too much. I'm a fragile guy. I deal with depression, all right? So you got to give me some slack here. So the other day, Sunday, I had to do a hard workout. Sunday is normally reserved for a race, but I didn't have a race scheduled, so I had to get myself out there on my own and do something really intense to simulate a race experience. So I thought I'll do some stuff on the track. So I drove into town, did a couple mile warm-up, and as I'm warming up, I'm thinking, I can't do it. I can't even imagine standing on the line on the track and hitting my watch and doing a hard workout right now. I can't even fathom that. It's so far away from what my brain is comfortable with right now. I just couldn't do it, couldn't get myself to do it. So 2-mile warm-up, and then I got to the track and I said, you know what? Let's just run on the track. Maybe we'll pick up the pace here and there, but we're not going to stop at the 400-meter line and click another lap and do a 400-meter sprint. We're not going to do anything like that. Let's just run around the track and increase the pace whenever we feel like it, okay? It's going to be a workout that's not really a workout. And I started out at a comfortable pace, and it was a little faster than I would normally run, but it still was a very comfortable pace. And I kind of got into it. I'm like, okay, this isn't so bad. This isn't scary. And I looked down at my watch, and I was running 6:30 pace, which isn't super fast for me, but it's a lot faster than I normally run. And I thought, okay, can we go a little bit faster? Let's just see. So I did another lap, and I gradually increased the pace, and I looked down, and now I'm doing 6-minute pace. And I'm like, okay, how does that feel? Let's relax. Let's just stay comfortable here. Can I relax my shoulders, my legs, my hips? How does that feel to run 6-minute pace? It's like, okay, it doesn't feel bad. It's still comfortable. So let's just hold on to this pace for a while. And let's play around. Maybe let's throw a surge in, but nothing specific. We're not going to wait until we get to a line on the track and anticipate that. Let's just let our body choose when it wants to go fast and then when it wants to slow down. So I got to a point and I felt myself accelerating, and there was no goal in mind. It's just like, let's accelerate a little bit. Look down at my watch. I'm running 5:30 pace. Okay, how do you feel? Feels comfortable. Doesn't feel so bad. And I went through the first mile, and the split for that mile was, I think, 5:45 when you averaged it all together. And I was feeling pretty good. So I kept going. It's like, well, let's see if we got a little more in there. So I just gradually, slowly increased the pace, almost imperceptibly, not like a start off the line where you dramatically increase it, but just a almost imperceptible change. And then 200 meters in, I looked down at my watch, and I was running 5:15 pace. I'm like, ooh, okay. But it felt good. There was no pressure. It's like, just run. There's no pressure. You don't have to finish a lap at this pace. You don't have to finish a mile at this pace. Just run, okay? Be comfortable, but challenge yourself at the same time. So kept going, finished that lap, and I'm like, let's just accelerate a little more. Before you know it, I'm running 4:58 pace. And I'm thinking, holy cow, I'm moving right now. And I ended up finishing that mile in a 5:19. And then I had to take a pee break, so I ran over to the river near the track and didn't stop my watch, and actually bumped into a friend out there who was also walking his dogs, talked for a minute, still didn't stop my watch, ran back to the track, and then started the whole thing again. But now I was more relaxed, I had gotten used to it, I didn't feel so stressed, I wasn't trying to avoid the workout, and I was actually having fun. I was really excited that I was running that fast without calling it a workout, without calling it mile repeats or intervals or anything like that. Just, let's go see what we got. So when I hit the track again, just slowly increase the speed. Before you know it, I'm well under 6-minute pace, knocked out, I think, a 5:57, and then wanted to see what I had, so I pushed some more. But again, so gradually. The first couple laps were in the low fives, and the second 2 laps were well under 5-minute pace, so that ended up being a 5:03 mile. And it didn't feel that bad. It didn't feel like a mile repeat. Now, if I had told myself that I have to go out there and do mile repeats and I've got to run a 5:03, that would scare me to death, because that's under my 5K race pace right now. My 5K race pace is in the low fives, but it's not a 5:03 yet. So for me to go out and just do a 5:03 mentally is way too much. But I just did one pretty comfortably after running several miles that were under 5, and without stopping after running a 5:57. And when I finished the 5:03, I wasn't dead. I kept moving, but I slowed down a little, and I ran a 5:58, which is still pretty fast. And then I thought, okay, let's pick it up again. Down into the 5:40s, down into the 5:40s, and then I finished with a 5:24. Ended up doing 10 miles in an hour. So averaged 6-minute pace, including the stopping to take a pee, talking to my friend, and also jogging really slowly to do that, and the 2-mile warm-up, which I wasn't doing that fast. So this was actually a much harder workout than I would have done if I had put myself on the track and said, okay, you're going to do mile repeats. At most, I would have done 2. That's at most what I would have had the mental energy to do. And I probably would have done 2 5:20s, and that would have done me in. And I would have had like a 4-minute rest in between, and I would have been scared to death to start the next one. But because I didn't create a specific workout, because I never created a start line or a finish line that I had to fear, I actually ended up running much faster for a much longer period of time. So the 3 fastest miles in there were a 5:19, a 5:03, and a 5:24 without stopping in between. And without a recovery lap or recovery 2 laps where I'm running at 9-minute pace, I was still running under 6-minute pace in between each of those miles. So this is really exciting to me, to know that I can pop out a pretty smoking 10-mile effort, or 1, 2, 3 with the pee break, 7 miles of pretty intense pace without even consciously choosing to do it. And I had some of my best performances. That 5:03 felt pretty comfortable. And then yesterday, which was a Tuesday, I had to do an uphill workout. I was going to do sprints up a mountain. And again, same thing, cold, dreary, wet, not feeling well. I'm only sleeping like 2 hours a night. This time of year really screws up my sleep patterns. So I woke up at like 10 o'clock, barely had slept at all, and just didn't even want to get out of the house. So getting myself out the door and dressed into the mountain was a really big deal. So I was excited that I had done that. And I said, you know, that's enough. That's okay. Just get to the mountain and just run. But then I got to a certain point, the Bluestone Road on Mount Anthony here in Bennington, which is one of my favorite places to run. And it's averages about 5 to 7% climb for a little over 4 miles. Climbs 1,800 feet in 4 miles. And I got to the road and I thought, let's try what we did on Sunday. Let's just pick up the pace a little bit for just a little while. And started picking up a little, and then thought, let's go a little faster, and gradually picked up the pace until I was moving at a good clip. And ended up running for 40 seconds at a really fast pace. got out of breath on that one and thought, okay, let's just jog again until I feel like doing it. My goal prior to getting out there was to do 8 hill repeats. I was going to do 8. So today, again, just you're already out here, you're running, you've already won the fight. Don't worry about this. And hey, look, you just did one, and you didn't even plan on it now. So this is awesome. So then before you know it, I did another. And before you know it, I did another. And each one I did got faster and faster. And I was working on my form, and I was working on an explosive drive, and I was actually getting really excited. And then I did them all the way to the top of the mountain. So for a little over 4 miles, with about 2 minutes rest, maybe 2 minutes to 2 minutes 20 seconds in between each one, I made it all the way up, and that surprised me. And I thought, oh, maybe I did 8. That would be pretty cool if I did 8. I didn't plan on doing it. And then when I got home to check my Strava data, I had done 11. I actually did more than I had intended on, and I felt really strong and really powerful, and I probably did them faster than I would have had I gone out there with the intention of, okay, you're going to run at this heart rate or at this pace for this long. That's scary. And there are times when facing that fear is really, really useful and is a good thing, and there's a lot of growth there. But there are times when facing that fear is only going to knock you down because you're facing too many other things at the same time. You've got to choose your battles wisely. Human ability to engage in activities that require willpower is pretty limited. So if you've done something that has used up some willpower, you've got a lot less willpower to do the next demanding thing, no matter what it is. So if it's related to schoolwork, or it's related to housework, or it's related to paying a bill or making a phone call, that's going to affect how much willpower you have to run hard on the track. Willpower is a universal resource. It's applied evenly to everything challenging that you try to engage in. So getting myself out the door, that took willpower. Getting myself to even start running on the track or on the mountain, that took willpower. So by allowing myself not to create this super hard workout in front of me, to put this gigantic finish line, this gigantic mountain in front of me, and they say, you got to run up that. Are you kidding me? I'm already depleted. I'm barely even here. But simply by saying, okay, just the next step, or as Rocky Balboa says to Adonis Johnson in the movie Creed, 1 step, 1 round, 1 fight. That's a horrible Sylvester Stallone impersonation. Anyway, it's the truth. Focus on this step. Focus on this round. Be here. Don't worry about what you have to do. Don't create these really strict guidelines or goals that you need to meet unless you're in a really good place. Then go for it. If you're in a good place and you're not stressed out and you're excited to get out there and run fast, do it. Do it. But if you're having a hard time, get rid of the challenge. Just let yourself get there. Let yourself dip your toe in the water. Don't tell yourself what you have to do. Let yourself do what you want to do without any expectation. Just be gentle and kind and let yourself show up. See, that part of us, the good part of us, the part that wants to be the hero, the part that really wants to do the hard work, that really wants to lose the weight, that really wants to work out 7 times a week, it's like a scared cat under the couch. And you can't just go try to grab the cat or shoo it out with a broomstick. You got to let it come out on its own. You got to let it know that it's safe. It's okay, sweetie. It's okay. Nobody's going to step on you. It's all right. We'll back up. We'll give you some space. You come out when you're ready. And that's what happened to me in these last 2 workouts. I came out when I was ready. And I came out in a big way. So don't underestimate yourself. And don't overcommit yourself. All right? If you create a safe environment where you can show up, you will show up. But if you create this unrealistic expectation that you don't have the energy to meet because you're already meeting so many other expectations, you're just going to fail. And then you're going to beat yourself up. And then you're less likely to get engaged the next time. Okay? All right. I love you guys. See you. Am I the person that builds character purely for my own good, for my own needs, so that I can rise in life and so that I can be dominant over others because I have more character than they do, because I can tolerate more discomfort than they can.